A great place to find primary sources is through an archived newspaper. The National Library of Australia has initiated Trove, which has a database of archived newspapers from all over Australia. Those newspapers cover from the 1800s to the 1950s, and they also include the Women's Weekly, which covers the period from 1933 to 1982. Let's have a look at those archived newspapers. If we go into databases from the Seymour Library portal and scroll down to Trove, National Library of Australia. Now there are three entry points. We're going to look particularly today at the Australian Newspaper Archive. Another one I would recommend, as I said, was the Women's Weekly Archive. So click on the hand and let's go in and do our first search. So we're going to look at prisoners of war, Burma. Now we're not going to narrow that search down, even though we want Second World War articles, until we actually bring up our search. Once our search appears, we can then narrow that search from the left-hand side, and we only want articles. Let's select the decade, 1940 to 1949, Second World War. And lastly, let's look at a word count of 1,000 plus words, because I want a fairly decent article. Alright, so immediately we've got some good resources. Survivors tell of Japanese atrocities to prisoners along the Burma Road. We could also, though, if we want to be more specific, we could actually narrow down by the year. Let's just have a look at this first one. Survivors tell of Japanese atrocities. We've got a fairly decent article there. There is some electronically translated text, but it's very difficult to read. You can zoom in on the article so that you can read a little bit better, and if you find this is exactly what you want, you can then save it as a PDF document. The PDF document is going to give you all the information that you need for your bibliography up the top. Except of course that it came from Trove, and you can add that in as well. Let's go back to our search, because I'm still searching on that same period. So let's go back and change our search. So this time I've got the search limited already to articles, to a word count, and to a decade. Let's do a search on women and wartime jobs. What were women doing on the home front? Okay, we've brought up quite a few articles here. If I want to be very specific, let's have a look at right in the middle of the war, 1942, 1943. What was being said in the paper at that stage? Women's job when the war is over, some desire to work on, women at war work. Let's have a little look at this one, women's jobs. So there was an interview that took place asking women how they felt about working and whether they feel then they could go back to the old bridge playing days, as they've said here. Again, if you want to keep this, you can select PDF and save that as well. I'm going to go back and do one more search. And the search I'm going to do this time I'm actually going to remove 1943, and I'm going to do a search on, let's make it very specific, Australian women on the home front. Okay, again, we've got a number of articles that have come up, and let's just select one of those, Women's Sphere, Home Front and Wartime. And it's talking about wartime conditions and how they have to adapt, the inconveniences, the hardships, the rations, that the clothes, how rationing of clothes is happening, and how they're getting around this. Again, an excellent article from a period during the war. Again, save it as a PDF, and you've got some fantastic primary sources for your assignment. If you need any more assistance, please do come and see me.